in mind when we're working with this. So we're going to create PHP variables that have very similar names, but we're going to make sure that they're a little bit distinct. So, in order to do this, and this is again the writing process here, we're going to pull the information from the form and stick it into the proper places in the database. So in order to do this, one of the first things we need to do is we need to create a function that cleans up our data. So we will be referring to this function to clean up our data a little bit. So we're going to call it function get input. And we're going to put a variable here in the parameter called data that will receive the data that we get, the raw data, from the form and clean it up a little bit. So function get input data. We're going to do our left and right braces because this is a normal programming function that gets stored inside this information. And then we're going to keep reassigning the data variable to itself in ways that we're going to clean it up. So for example, the variable data equals trim, and we're trimming the data variable. So what trim does is trim gives us the ability, I'm going to add comments here, to delete extra spaces. That's what trim does. The next thing we're going to do is called strip slashes. So deletes unnecessary characters. So data equals strip slashes. Make sure you spell it right. And we're going to do that to data. And then finally, going to look for HTML special characters to clean it up, or put them in where we need them. Data equals HTML special chars to data. When we're done with it, we're going to return data. And returning it allows us to work with it in another capacity. So quick review, because I'm going to clean it up so that it looks a little cleaner. When we get our data, it's going to get passed down to this function, get trimmed up, getting strip slashes that need to be stripped out of it. And by strip slashes, I'm going to change that to mean it takes out these kind of characters. We'll do that, and then takes out any HTML special characters. We'll take any of those out. And all that does is make sure that the database reads the data as purely as possible.